Aloha mai kako, eko mamai curtain call, a program of reviews, previews, interviews, and features of and or with the great art and artists on Maui and beyond. I'm Paul James Brown. Alli Waters has been a film editor for more than 20 years. Some of her clients have been MTV, the Travel Channel, ESPN, Xterra, HBO, E! Channel, NBC Sports, Mercedes, among others. For several years, she produced a show called Maui TV here at Akaku.
Aloha. My name is Alli Waters, and I am a documentarian.
When I first traveled to Maui, I fell in love with the island, and I made it my home. Now my grandchildren are being raised here. When I moved to Maui in 1993, I became a videographer, filming tourists snorkel off the Trilogy boats. Hey. We swam with all the creatures of the spectacular underwater world. I spent a lot of my career in the ocean and on the beaches around the world filming surfing, windsurfing, and kiteboarding. I've seen the reefs in the near-shore Maui waters change drastically in the past 30 years.
12 years ago, she produced a video to educate people about the destruction of our coral reefs by wastewater injection wells. During the pandemic, she was encouraged to write, produce, film, and edit a documentary about the progress that has been made since her initial dive into the subject more than a decade ago. That encouragement has led to the creation of UnderWaters, a Maui Victory, that recently screened at the Maui Film Festival as well as at a private screening in Paia. This film is not just an historical record, but it is also a call to the rest of the country that the Supreme Court ruled in 2020 to uphold the Clean Water Act.
After years of court battles, Maui County must get discharge permits for wastewater wells. This new federal court ruling is the first in the nation to enforce a Clean Water Act permit requirement that the Supreme Court outlined last year.
Writing for the majority 6-3 decision, Justice Breyer said, quote, "We do not see how Congress could have intended to create such a large and obvious loophole in one of the key regulatory innovations of the Clean Water Act." He was referring to the County of Maui's defeated argument that the Clean Water Act did not cover the county's release of wastewater because it was done indirectly through groundwater. The pipe goes into the ground, and then the waste goes into the ocean. So the county said, the Clean Water Act doesn't cover what the county is doing. All courts, up to the Supreme Court, disagreed with their position. The victorious plaintiffs in this case were Maui Wildlife Fund, the Surfrider Foundation, Sierra Club, West Maui Preservation Association, and Earth Justice, and indirectly, everyone in the United States, because this ruling has implications for everywhere wastewater is dumped. The film features interviews with the original warrior for saving the reefs, the biologist and president of the Hawaii Wildlife Fund, Dr. Hannah Bernard.
This is an inspirational story about our community coming together to try and solve one of the greatest threats to our reef. So the injection wells are basically designed to use our ocean as a sewer, where the injection well water is going into the ground and gushing into the ocean, maybe 4 or 5 million gallons a day.
And Dr. Robin Knox, who should have been on the Mayor Bisson's shortlist to run the county's Department of Environmental Protection.
In the Kumulipo, the coral polyp is the first form of life. The chant tells of the relationship of the life in the forest and the life in the ocean, and how the two are related. We can show this scientifically, but yet our management systems don't recognize it.
It also has impassioned pleas from representatives from the Kanaka community, Ekolu Lindsay, president of Maui Land Trust.
And selfishness. We're not doing any service for those people who are yet to come on this earth. It all starts with a single person. We have to do what's right.
And Kumu Kimokea Kapahulehua.
Because in the end, this is where the water comes. We call it Napoe Kamoana. These are the people of the sea.
Pro surfers Francisco Porcella and Matt Mayola point out what is happening to the reefs, not only here on Maui, but throughout the world.
Beautiful reefs, really alive, and the fish feeding, and now they're all dead, or they're dying.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe they just dump all that stuff in the water. It's really like mind-blowing.
The Earth Justice attorneys David Henkin, who argued the case before the Supreme Court, along with Mahesh Cleveland, as well as Lance Collins, attorney for the West Maui Preservation Association, illuminate the arguments used to uphold the tenets of the Act.
So they were finding things like pharmaceuticals and flame retardants.
Congress passed the Clean Water Act, which basically began to regulate the discharge of pollution into the ocean.
All of a sudden, they started putting millions of gallons of treated wastewater down the well.
Kristen Lindblad, a passionate international environmentalist, philanthropist, and underwater photographer, who is also a part-time Maui resident, along with pro kiteboarder Verda Marley and Maui Health Assistant Manager Dane Sedang, all sound the alarm.
Well, I would say red alert is the state of our oceans right now.
Over that time, I've just seen a lot of changes in the ocean.
It is affecting our reef and our culture for us Hawaiian people.
The film has gorgeous cinematography and photography by Ms. Lindblad, Ms. Waters, Ananda Stone, Marcus Rodriguez, and Bluecology.
Hanau mulipui ka po he kane, hanau po ele ka po he wahine. Hanau ka uku ko ako o hanau kana he ako apuka.
Amazing drone films of whales by Harry Donenfeld. Among others. It ultimately is a call to action to make sure that all wastewater meets the requirements of the Clean Water Act.
When the ocean's clean, then everything can thrive because everything depends on the ocean.
This isn't just for ocean water, but it also relates to discharges into freshwater rivers, lakes, and streams. This film tells the story of right against might, that perseverance in the cause of truth will ultimately prevail, a message that is so needed today. A plan needs to be put in place to repurpose the wastewater for irrigation, agricultural, and fire suppression. This will be expensive and will take time, but it needs to begin immediately. We need to do whatever it takes to save the coral we have and then replenish what we have lost. The film has been selected for the IMDb Internet Movie Database Los Angeles Women's Independent Film Awards in the documentary category, and you can see it. Go to www.UnderWaters.net for future screenings. Well, that's Curtain Call for this week. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Paul James Brown. Ah, hui ho.